Hi there, welcome back to Save with Crypto. My name is Save with Crypto. And yeah, first of all, sorry I didn't make a video yesterday. I meant to, but what I decided to do was help my daughter get her car back to university for her. Basically what we did, we bought a car on Saturday, or rather she bought a car on Saturday. Her first car ever, and yeah, very pleased with it actually. Nice Renault Capture. It was a very nice little car, and she was a little bit nervous about driving it all the way back to university because she hasn't really driven on her own ever, and she's only driven on the motorway for about 5 seconds. It involved a bit of motorway and a bit of normal roads, about 200 miles. So what I decided to do was to go about halfway with her, do most of the motorways with her, but in actual fact she drove it, and then when she was happy I got off and caught a train. So that put me somewhere in the middle of Wales, up here somewhere, and I got a train from through Llanelli, Swansea, towards Cardiff, and then round about here there was like trespassers on the line apparently, so the train had to do like walking pace to Cardiff. And then I was stuck in Cardiff for ages, and I had to get a train to Bristol, and then a train further on to home. But it meant that I was hanging around here for like ages, and it was just it just seemed like forever really. Consequently I didn't get to do a video. Now what I did do before I left home in the morning was I closed my trade. I was trading on ByBit. Now I had actually closed this one making 5% on Friday night, and then on Saturday morning there was just a small one here, 3%, literally going from 84,430 to 84,532. So not a very big trade there. And then what happened was when I finally got on a train at Bristol, I had reasonable Wi-Fi connection on the train, so I was able to get my laptop out and have a look at what was going on. So that was around about here at like 9 p.m. last night, and I went into a long position just with a quarter of the account here, and the price came down quite a bit further actually while I was on the train. At that point the connection was really bad, so I just crossed my fingers really. Then I got home, I was really sleepy, so I went to sleep, and the price went right up here, up to 85.5k, and now it's come back down. Now what I'd done was I set a few limit orders, 3 limit orders, to fill if the price came down. Only one of those has filled so far, and that was this one here. So that means at the moment the position size is 25k. I'm trading with about half the account now, so about $1,000 there. Currently 25% in profit, $266. So not doing too bad actually. So this is the account that was $300 around about the 7th of April, and it's now up to, oh there it is, 2,348. So not doing too bad actually. Now I am trading this on ByBit. ByBit, you're not supposed to use that in the UK, but if you've done your KYC somewhere else you can. So if you want to check out the exchanges that I use and the ones where I can get you like a really good bonus, do go to savewithcrypto.org. It's .org, not .com. Okay, savewithcrypto.org. And look at exchanges here. If you use these links, ByBit, you can get up to a $30,000 trading bonus. BitGet, you can also get up to a $30,000 trading bonus. And if you want to sign up in a country that is restricted, then you can do it without any ID if you use one of these exchanges here, like Blofin. Blofin, you need to use a VPN in some countries, but BitUnix, you don't need to use a VPN at all, and you can sign up in any country except China, North Korea and Iran. BitUnix is one of my favourite alternative exchanges at the moment. So do check them out, savewithcrypto.org, not .com. Okay. Anyway, so here we are on Monday, the 14th of April. The time is about 8:30 in the morning, And yeah, it's clear to see that looking at the 1 hour time frame, this down sloping resistance level here, I think has been finally broken, hasn't it? I did wonder, actually, zooming in, if what I thought was initially a retest here, if that was actually more like a retest what happened yesterday. So the actual line was more like that, which would actually give a touch here and a touch there, which would make slightly more sense, as that is now showing like a stronger breakout last night and then retesting early this morning, and then we're off again. There were 2 CME closes that needed to get filled, and they've both been done now, so we can forget about those. No CME gaps to worry about anymore. Now, just to show you what I did about adding that extra bit of money in, what I used was this indicator here called the VWAP Standard Deviation Bands V2 mod. Okay, and that puts these like kind of bands here at the bottom, here at the top. Now what I was looking at was this like dotty line here. Okay, I'd set an order on that line there, also one on that green line there, and that green line there. Now this is something that I used to do in the past. I used to do it to enter a trade, but now I only really use it to add to a trade once I'm reasonably in profit. So generally what I'm doing, I'm adding in something like 25% of the available capital here on this dotted line here, and then another 50% here on this green line, and then the rest of it on this bottom green line here, just in case we get a dip like that and it catches it. Now of course there is always the possibility that the price might just plummet and fill all the orders and then carry on going down. For that reason, I only ever do this if I'm reasonably in profit, which would be something like that, 22%, possibly a bit more, to be honest. So at the moment I've got these 2 orders set here, which I can probably adjust now. Now actually what I decided to do was to cancel those orders, and I think I'm just going to put a stop loss in profit about there, just to give it a bit of wiggle room. The reason being, I've got a business meeting in about an hour's time, and I want to be fully focused on that and not worrying about the charts. So I think that's what I'll do there. But I have got more capital to play with if I need to. But ideally, I want this to be like more in profit, because of course, if I add some money into the trade, it's going to push up the entry, which won't be ideal. You want the entry to be as low as possible. The best thing to do really is just to leave it and just think, okay, I've done it, that's it, and just forget about the extra money. But I know I do like to have a fairly big position size if I can. That's probably quite a bad trading habit, I would say, but we're all learning. But overall, I would say that generally everything's looking pretty good, really. Unless there's some like bad news, I think the market will probably go up. The reason being is this double bottom from last week just played out so beautiful. The retest is now perfect. It's all looking really, really good. If you put on my moving averages, these are these EMAs that I always use. If you want to see how to set these up, look at the video that's linked at the end of this video, and it shows you how to do it for free. What I'm looking for here is the cross of the yellow and the green line. This is on the 6 hour time frame. You can see here we've just had a cross here, which is very bullish. That happened yesterday, and the time it happened before then was the 23rd of March, when we went from 84k up to 88k, and the time before that was way back here in January, when we went from 95 up to 109. That's a 6 hour time frame. Maybe I should look at the 12 hour, because I think that's the real clue. So the last bullish cross here was January the 16th, going from 95 to the all-time high, 109. It crossed bearish here in February, and it's been bearish ever since. So if we can get a cross of the yellow and green there, I think, then what could easily play out is something like that. Now, do be aware that we could make an even bigger double bottom. We could do something like that. and then go up. And if we did that, we might see the 72, 73 again. But I would say that overall, over the last year or so, the trend is pretty much upwards. Anyway, that's what I think. It's not what's going to happen. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. While you're down there, please do make sure you are subscribed and you've got the notifications set on all. Any questions, leave them in the comments. Do remember to give the video a big fat like. Check out my site, savewithcrypto.org. Lots of ways to save money, get money for nothing, and get in touch. And above all, tell your friends.
Save with Crypto has to be one of the best YouTube channels that the United States has ever seen. Kamala Harris is not a subscriber, but I am. I have notifications set to all as well. I'd strongly suggest you subscribe to Save with Crypto today. Above all, you should tell your friends.
Save with Crypto is not a financial advisor. He just makes ice cream on the internet. If you cannot find someone to do your own research, you must do it yourself, just like I did not.